Well, I would say that anybody who I mean, do you read the Bible? You know, the Bible is explicit. If I were to read the Bible from cover to cover and put it on a CD by law, I would have to put explicit content on that body of work. I mean, iTunes would actually, if I did that and put it on iTunes, and I didn't put explicit content on there, iTunes would have to take the Bible off. You know what I'm saying? The audio Bible off, because this is an explicit book. Now, you know what I'm saying? My album is the same way. I mean, am I on there cussing and stuff? No, explicit content doesn't mean that you're on there cussing. That's kind of something that we're used to seeing because that's what the world is doing. But explicit content means just what it says. It's explicit content. It's content that might be a little more graphic or in nature, or a little more aggressive in nature, than the average person is comfortable with. So as an act of love and respect for people, it's like the rating system with movies. Every movie that's rated R does not have sex in it. You know what I'm saying? And you're ignorant if you see that and you automatically assume that that's what it is. You feel what I'm saying? Do your research, because it might just be that, because, I mean, it might be a language thing, or it might just be that, there's some graphic scenes in this movie. There might be a really graphic, murder scene or torture scene or something that depicts reality. Is the person wrong for showing this in reality? I mean, if you read the Bible, homie, it's all of that. You get people being maimed, tortured, raped. You know what I'm saying? Assassinated. I mean, that book, homie, ain't no joke. You feel me? We just have an affection for it and a love for it, which we should, but it causes us to act as if, like, well, because something's explicit, it's sinful. Like, come on, homie, if you're going to say that, then you got to say the Bible's sinful. So be careful about what you're talking about. Most people just, they don't see in a big picture. They have a very, tunnel vision, and people are looking for a reason to trip. You know what I'm saying? My album is explicit because I talk about things in a graphic nature at times. Some of my metaphors, that I use might be a little explicit. And so, if you got a young child and you don't, like when I say, Satan is a sucker like fellatio, well, then your child might turn around and be like, yo, Dad, what's fellatio? And then you have to explain that to him. So if that's not a conversation you're ready to have with a kid, that's on there. So it's just like, make an educated grown-up's decision, man. Maybe you don't want, a young child to hear that right now. And you have the right to do that. But as an artist, am I wrong for saying it? No, I'm not wrong for saying it. I didn't sin. You know what I'm saying? I had a grown-ups conversation with grown people. You feel me? I use the word nigga. Nigga is not a curse word. You feel me? It's a word that, from my culture, that actually is a term of endearment. You feel me? Now, it's been hijacked. It has roots. I mean, even thousands of years ago. You feel me? It has roots in positivity for the African culture. Now it was hijacked, by some racist people, and it was used for a long period of time to try to oppress people and stuff. But, in every context, that word doesn't mean that, especially in the culture that I'm from. That word doesn't mean that at all. You dig what I'm saying? So I don't feel like people have the right, especially if you're not even from my culture, man. You ain't got the right to tell me, you know what I'm saying, how our language should be defined and stuff like that. So, it's a lot of arrogance on people's part, man. It's a lot of pride that, religious people are still dealing with, that they need to really check themselves. I mean, there was a point in time when calling somebody a Christian was a derogatory term, but now we walk around and say that with pride. So, what is wrong? It's only wrong when black people start doing stuff like that. When black people start taking the power back from a word, or taking the power away from a word and changing it, then now all of a sudden, we can't do that. Like, people need to be careful, man, of what they say when they say certain things, because you mess around and look like a racist, trying to act like you're defending, a certain group of people. So, but I understand that these conversations and these conflicts exist. So out of love and respect, the people that I talk to, that I make music specifically for, they're not, they're not offended by these terms. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who buys my record or listens to my music, you have now entered into that world by your own choice. You know what I'm saying? So if you make that choice, then, you have to take what comes with it. You dig what I'm saying? But at least I had enough respect for you to let you know that that's what's going on in this world before you come here, you know. And I'm willing to, accept the consequences of that, because there's a whole lot of cats coming to the Lord from the street right now that people are trying to fit and strip away from that. It's one thing to try to help people to stay away from sin and different things, but when you're trying to take somebody's entire identity as a person, and take their edge that God has given them to go back to their people in the future, and you're trying to remove all of that and say, oh, that's worldly, It's like if I wear a gold chain, or I wear a chain, and I wear a hoodie, oh, he's dressing like the world, But if I throw on a suit, all of a sudden now I'm holy and refined. The original gangsters in this country wore three-piece suits. You dig what I'm saying? So it's a lot of it is just racism, man. It's like, when you look like a young black man, you're of the world. When you look like a rich white person, oh, now you look like the church. Like, I ain't feeling none of that. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm going to stand up, and I'm going to be a Christian from the culture that I'm from, and I'm going to proclaim the gospel to the culture that I'm from, and I'm not going to let anybody, tell me that I'm wrong for doing that, man. If what I'm doing ain't sinful, homie, then, you got to take that up with the Lord, man.